Welcome to the EarthWorks podcast, where our team will share the jargon of carbon with many of the turf friends we've met over the past 35 years.
Hello all and welcome to the EarthWorks podcast. I'm your host, Jack Higgins, and when I awoke the dire wolf, 600 pounds of sin, my man, Matthew Wolfe.
What's up, brother?
Matt, what up, dude?
How are you?
Dude, that was a compliment. That was a little Grateful Dead lyric.
I'll take it. It's better than Hungry Like a Wolf.
Okay, yeah. The dire wolf, the big boy. Well, dude, we're here, down here. You're hosting me. Why don't you let everyone know where we're sitting?
Yeah, man. Welcome. This is Trump National Golf Club of Philadelphia, formerly known as Pine Hill Country Club. We sit right here in Pine Hill, New Jersey.
There's another golf course around here.
We sit approximately about 1.5 miles away from Pine Valley Golf Club. So
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I've heard it's like climbing the rankings recently. I feel like they're doing something good over there.
So yeah, right here in Pine Hill.
Yeah, it's kind of unnerving trying to compete with the number one course in the world, but we're getting there.
And for the listener around the country, around the world, we're in New Jersey. It's called Pine. It's called Trump National Philadelphia.
Trump National Philadelphia, but we are located in Pine Hill, New Jersey. We're about 25 minutes from downtown Philly.
You have a view of the skyline, I remember.
Correct. The clubhouse, it sits on the highest point of the golf course right now. And you can see a panoramic view of the skyline of Philadelphia. So, funny story, the clubhouse is actually 30 feet lower than what the actual hill originally was.
Okay.
They shaved it down to put the clubhouse in the pool. But it was 30 feet higher, and back before this was Pine Hill Country Club, this was actually a ski mountain in New Jersey.
Dude, in South Jersey, as we're going to talk about, we're in the sandy pines here.
Yeah, we're right on the edge of the Pine Barrens.
Okay.
And if you drive around the property, you can totally understand why we're called Pine Hill.
Yeah, right.
It's black pines are the main species here, and there's a lot of them.
But they had a ski hill here, huh?
There's a ski hill here, yeah. So the main drive that you came in on, there was a ski lift that took you all the way up to where the clubhouse sits currently.
Right.
And people would ski. Pine Hill, New Jersey back in the day used to be a vacation destination.
Yeah, love it, man.
We have a big amusement park area over there by Pine Valley.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then there was a ski mountain here as well. So believe it or not, you're 45 minutes from Atlantic City. We're an hour away from Cape May.
Yeah.
So it's
right outside of Philadelphia.
Yep. And
right over the river.
You can see Philadelphia from here. So
cool.
It's a very interesting property to be placed in New Jersey, to which a lot of people would suspect flat and kind of rugged country. We are the most un-Jersey golf course, perhaps in Jersey.
Yeah. Now, what do you mean by that? Like, what you're so un-Jersey in that, like, yeah. Like you've got this like sand hill.
Yeah, it's I can't you described it perfectly. It's when this golf course was constructed by Tom Fazio in the late 90s, when they acquired it from, I'm not sure if the land was owned by the township or whatnot. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was acquired, and Tom Fazio was in charge of developing the golf course to what you see now. It's the exact same layout. Everything has been untouched since Tom Fazio built it in. It was originally built as a public golf course, a daily fee public golf course.
Okay.
With a slope rating of 153.
Oh man, that's the big story here. This is a monster of a golf course.
It is a beast, to say the least. To put into the scope of what 153 means, Pine Valley is arguably the hardest golf course in the country with a slope of 155.
Okay, and this is a 153.
153.
Wow.
We play just over 7,400 yards from the Trump tees, which are our championship tees.
And that just kind of also throws everybody the perspective of what it was like in 1998, in like the beginning of the Tiger era, and everything was so exciting, and they're building a public fee golf course that was 7,400 yards.
I'm not sure exactly what the thought process was there, but Mr. Fazio created a masterpiece here. He really did.
Right.
And you got to drive the golf course. So you got to see it's we are surrounded by trees, 360 around every hole basically. There's a
giant property too, right? How big is this?
A little over 360 acres.
Yeah, that's huge
for 18 holes. And the funny part is that half of the property only contains 4 holes.
Oh wow!
There's a managed trout stream that was put in back in the 90s here. There's a lot of wildlife, like inhabited areas that are kind of protected on that side of the golf course. So it's a big property.
You pointed out, like, at the beginning here, like this really was like a destination sort of area. Of course you have Pine Valley, which is that same sort of thing. Like it's a destination sort of area. And it's this preserved nature in this cool, but yet so close to a major metro, like so close to Philadelphia.
It's wild. And to be completely honest, when I first found out about the position being open, I'd never heard of the place. I didn't know Trump National Golf Club ever existed. So it was Pine Hill Country Club, basically up until 2009 when President Trump bought the place Christmas Eve of 2009.
Cool.
And then obviously rebranded it with the Trump organization.
Yeah, way cool. And also with that has brought everything that is at all the Trump National Golf Courses, like that sort of level of
correct. You know how President Trump and his golf courses, they carry a good deal amount of prestige.
Absolutely.
And, I think we can all agree that President Trump requires perfection. So it's a challenge. It's a very challenging golf course. I mean, just like the surrounding clubs, this place is built on straight sand. When they carved this place out and the bunkers were carved out, they just dug down until they found the sand and then just created a bunker with them.
And that's where you're at with, like, it's the most un-Jersey golf course in Jersey.
And that's coming from a guy from Indiana. So take that with what it's worth.
Also another heavy clay sort of soil. Like
it's very strange because it's like we dig down and for, let's say irrigation breaks and whatnot, and it's pure sand. But then, we replaced a few valves my first winter here. We had to go a little deeper than normal. And you get like this almost clayish, almost orangey, almost like it's been mixed with iron, and it's like this weird material down low. It's not something that I've been completely used to, especially working for the last 6 or 7 years prior to here, working in the rich ground of Lancaster Country Club.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you come from, like Piedmont, Piedmont.
Yeah, I've been great. I've been very grateful to work on courses with a great soil structure when I got there. And then, coming here, you can't even call it soil. It is straight sand.
Sugar sand.
Sugar sand. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Sugar sand.
Yeah, that's right.
It's no different than what Pine Valley's working with. We run on the same vein for irrigation water that they do. It's very similar structure to what Pine Valley's dealing with. And there's a lot of inputs that go into it, and it's something that I learned my first year, and this is why you and I are sitting down talking right now, because I'm ready to go full bore and get this place a profile get built here for sure.
Well, yeah, that's a good chance to kind of get retrospective as to where you're from and where you've come from in your experience, because you say first year you've only been here for 14 months. Correct.
I took the position the day after Veterans Day last November.
There you go.
That was my first day. So so that over the winter, I kept bringing up the trees. We really had to open up some airflow. We had to open up some sunlight issues. There's a good 4 or 5 holes here that I could only describe as trying to grow grass in an armpit. That's the best way that I can describe it.
Interesting. You said 360 degrees, and yeah,
Every
I've been
hole.
out there. It's cut. These holes are cut into a forest,
Correct. Correct.
and so and you don't really see hole to the next. You don't really see the next hole.
No, you don't. I mean, there are some corridors that I've opened up since I've been here with the tree removals, that you can have some of those vistas now,
Okay.
and that sight line.
Okay.
But where I'm coming from an agronomic standpoint, I'm not looking for vistas. It's more agronomic, airflow, sunlight. The whole triangle of premium turf grass is what you need: sunlight, airflow, good water. So
yeah,
just trying to get back to the basics here. And I inherited a lot of chemicals and fertilizers that weren't put out, and so I wasn't able to really alleviate some issues that I saw with my own program. It was more of a kind of a hybrid. I had to use what I got, and then
also not knowing what it's like to manage the golf course when you're just a whole shovel's length deep of sand.
Yeah, my first day on the job, good buddy of mine, Tom Curry, and I, we drove around and we took soil samples my first day here, and obviously we started getting into it and diving into what we need, and there were, needless to say, a lot of lack of malnutrition, basically.
Yeah,
it's all you can say.
Yeah, we've done the soil tests, and you got CECs of 2 mil equivalents, barely any holding capacity whatsoever, and any nutrient that's there is input from you.
Correct.
That's the only thing you're getting.
Super low in calcium, super high in sodium. I mean, that right there says enough right there. Yeah, when I drove around for my interview, you could see the sodium wilt. I mean, it just kind of looks like a Jackson Pollock painting. It's not heat stress. It's not wilt. It's sodium. And,
you're right. And no soil to fight against it, because you just got no holding capacity.
Correct. There. And I'm sure a lot of the guys around the area, they can agree. I'm sure they're dealing with the same issues. So it's almost, when we were going over soil samples, Tom kind of laughed because, he's like, your soil samples look just like my guys down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So everything leaches really fast here. And, I obviously I got to use a lot of some products that I wanted to use last year. But I was forced to basically use a lot of more synthetic liquid
got it.
products, and we're totally flipping that this year. We're going straight prilled fertilizers. That everything we need, we got to start getting some sustenance in the ground. We got to have something that the grass can chew on for a little bit more than rather just getting us through the 2 weeks till our next spring.
You want to build a foundation in that
here.
soil.
You have to. There's no other way around it, and that's why we're going full bore with.
That's cool.
With dry fert this year.
So tell me about the speed at which you assess this place and then prioritized the things that need to change right away, because we're saying it's only been 14 months, but you're making moves.
Yeah, I mean, just like anybody walking into position, you drive around and you can kind of already identify your problematic areas. And when I got here, believe it or not, the tees were in the roughest shape. A lot of the tees were 50% turf decline, some more, some less. It was So I really put my focus last year on removing any kind of trees or any kind of biotic influences to those
around
those
areas. Let me interject, just to give everyone an idea. What kind of play are we talking about here? Is this a busy golf course? What's the
I think we did
like?
we just did a little over 19,000 rounds last year.
Okay, so that's active, very active.
And it's 100% carts. We don't have anybody walking here. I think I'm the only one that walks here, but I'm not carrying a bag.
Well, that leads to what you were saying: 360 acres. Some holes where are just completely isolated.
Yeah, there's a good stretch of cart path between holes. There really is
a lot of maintenance around here.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, so tees were In a forested golf course, you can imagine the first thing that starts to get overgrown if you're not watching it are those tee complexes.
I had overhanging branches. Like
Aha.
it was tight.
Aha.
I mean, it's just like I didn't reinvent the wheel. You know, it's the basic stuff, and you just identify the issues, and you just rectify it.
There you go.
The greens when I got here, it was more so much the texture that I wasn't really.
What do you mean by that?
A little bit leggy, especially for
Bent grass.
A1, A, or I'm sorry. What did I say? Did I say A1 and 4? No, we're L93.
Okay, that's that Rutgers. Come on now, we're not in PA
sorry,
anymore.
I'm back
dude.
in PA.
Hold
still
on.
thinking A1, A4.
Yeah, that's that Rutgers grass.
We're L93 across the board. Tees, fairways, approaches, greens. But to my surprise, starting around July, I think that's when everybody last year started kind of scratching their heads like, what's going on? That was probably one of the toughest Julys I've ever experienced.
What a nasty year to be your first year superintendent.
But it's the best way to do it. I mean, get the hardest stuff out first, get used to it, and everything just gets a little bit easier.
Good for you.
But I did find out that there was another variety of grass that had been seeded into the greens over the years before I got here. And believe it or not, it ended up being the alpha variety, which we had a little bit in our greens back at Lancaster, and always kind of saw it a little bit of petering out, kind of thinning out in the summer times, but we didn't have the population that we have here. So not knowing that, I wish I would have taken my foot off the gas like a week or two prior to when I started seeing a little bit of stuff going on, but that's the stuff you learn. You learn all that the further you go. So now I think I'm going to have to incorporate more fertility into the greens, because in my years past, I've always really liked to thin them out, really give them just barely what they need to get through July and August, so you get to August aerification. But as other things that I've done in the past, I've had to switch things up at this property. I really have to change my mindset on fertility and my water management here for sure.
So cool for a guy that's been growing grass for how long?
I mean, it depends on who you ask, professionally or non-professionally. I really started, my first big internship in a big golf course was in 2011. Went out to Kinloch in Richmond underneath Pete Went when he was there, and really got thrown into the fire there. And so 2011, I would say, probably is when I really started.
Yeah, there you go. So for 15 years, you're on these properties that lead you to a great superintendent's job in the same area that you've been working, yet the soil and the microenvironment is like a whole different part of the country.
It could not be a polar opposite.
So crazy.
More of a polar opposite.
So crazy. So but you adjust.
You adapt or die, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what that's the approach, is you're saying water management and fertility. And you got the benefit of this bentgrass variety alpha as being like your canary in the coal mine.
Yeah. I mean, the beautiful thing about it is that we got so lucky last year, and I'm sure everybody would agree with me. One of the hardest Julys of all time, followed up by one of the easiest Augusts. And I don't want to say easiest because
you just got a relief. The plant got a little relief. You got these cool nights.
We were getting 50-degree nights in August.
Yep, I remember.
How many times has that happened?
It was awesome.
I mean, the humidity dropped out. It was a godsend, and I think a lot of people would agree with me around the area who experienced what we dealt with last year in the Mid-Atlantic. So I mean. It's totally changed the way I think about proper turf management from what I've been used to.
What were so let's first talk moisture management. How did you push the plant and the soil moisture? What were those numbers? What were you looking at? And then where do you make your shift? How do you make your shift?
So obviously starting the year out, when we got into the position where we started needed to water and stuff, obviously everybody's got a TDR.
You got the purple unit right there.
You got to have them here. You got to have them everywhere, to be honest with you. So we've back at former courses, we've always tried to keep them as dry and as firm as possible. So you never want to overwater, in which, you're just setting yourself up for problems doing that in itself.
Well, you've got it's a playability thing, of course, and you've got high expectations, and like you started with, this is a monster of a golf course. So if you got some good players out here, like you could, the sky's the limit for how you set this place up.
Correct. And not to get off topic, but when that's the saving grace of this property. Tom Fazio built this as a difficult golf course, but we have 4 acres of greens on 18 holes. Our greens are large.
Nice.
That's the godsend.
Nice.
But with that, it's a lot more setup in the morning and a lot more things to check on.
Oh, a lot more chemical, a lot more fertilizer.
Chemical, yeah, it goes tenfold. So, obviously you just go with your instincts, and usually, like, if you want to talk numbers, 12 to 13 as long, in my years prior, 12 to 13% in the mornings is usually pretty good, because you're not going to, depending on your roots, depending on your species, you're not going to really see wilty get down to 5-6% anyways.
Cool.
So that's kind of always the standard benchmark that I've gone off of. But we started off the season right at the last week of April. We did not see a drop of rain until the first week of June. We had 5 weeks of no rain. So I had to jump right into moisture management pretty damn quick. Found out really quick that those numbers that I used to rely on in the past don't mean anything. So we had to, I had to rethink some things, and it was hard for me to adjust because I didn't want to water that much. But that number in the morning needed to be closer to 15-16%, and that's more of what I'm setting up for. And then when we're in that last lap of the afternoon, 4 o'clock, we're taking numbers to get us set up for what we need to water that night, and those numbers move down quickly.
Wow.
I'm talking, I'll start at 15% in the morning, and it's 85 degrees, low humidity. I'm not surprised to see 4 or 5% in the afternoon.
Wow.
Not surprised.
So that's an incredibly fast rate of ET.
It's it's the weirdest thing, because these greens, noticing how they play and how they water, and like how they take the water, there's a little bit of a little bit of layering in that first 1.5 inches, so you can just see them stratifications. And what I noticed, and what was just so frustrating, is that anytime I had to run overheads, the greens were like wet, like wet for like a good day or so. And it took me a while to figure out, and we started digging around more, and there's a little bit of a layering problem that I think that's hindering the water flushing through that first inch or so. But once it gets past that, gone. It's gone.
Okay, so whereas your roots are past that first bit.
Correct.
Oh no.
So I don't want to sit here and speculate, reasons or why or whatever, but so I've had to.
So you identified that, like you saw that happen. You could see that.
It was such the weird, like I just couldn't understand. I'm like, how are we straight? I mean, I'm basically at 1% or under organic matter on all my green surface.
Yes.
So
and fairways for that matter. The whole damn property.
The whole property.
Yes.
So it was tough going for a while until you started figuring out, and then.
So how did you? So on greens particularly, where you had that little bit of stratification, you were kind of squishy up top, but yet wilting below.
So, and then, I think that's what played into a big factor on my 4 or 5 lower lying holes. I mean, 2 of my holes lie right next to a swamp.
Okay.
So no air movement, very, very muggy. And then you stay wet up top longer than you want to. I mean, it's no surprise that you get a little, mechanical injury here. You get some etiolation overnight in the humidity, and you go out there and you're not following the 1/3 rule, especially on alpha. So I wasn't surprised to see that.
Oh, because the alpha grows.
Etiolates so much more than the L93.
Oh,
I have pictures side by side that can show it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, a patch of alpha right next to 93, and you can see the etiolation.
So that was the canary in the coal mine you were talking about.
My L93 held up great all year long. It was only the spots of alpha that really took a knock on the chin.
And it was that July time when you had these muggy overnights.
I think it was 22 nights in a row. Nighttime temps stayed above 70 degrees in a row.
Oof.
And I think a lot of people will agree.
In a pine swamp.
Yeah.
Whereas other parts of your property are like 100 to 150 feet above that.
8 really struggled. It's one of the lowest lying holes. It's like in an armpit. It's like growing grass in a closet. And then you go right to number 9, the next hole. Never had an issue all year with it.
Amazing.
Just because it had the adequate flow, it sits higher. It's getting everything that you want.
Amazing.
So,
Okay, so let's get back to the stratification deal. What's the approach?
So obviously when we took soil tests, we saw that we were very low in OM, low in a bunch of other things. So I wasn't too concerned about pulling a core during verification because I'm in the process of building here.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you have a layer you got to pull out.
Correct. So we're always going to deep tine. So I mean we've already deep tined the property. All services have been done twice except for greens. We're going to do greens on Thursday.
There you go. This is a winter deep tine.
Yeah, and anytime we catch a thaw, we're going to be doing something.
Good for you.
So I have a second deep tiner coming that's going to help us do stuff during the weeks, especially prior to August verification, to get an extra deep tine in there as well. But my whole philosophy was we're just going to solid tine, do some good verticutting, texture control, and we're just going to right off into the sunset. That's obviously changed.
Okay.
So what I'll be doing in the spring, obviously all the deep tining and stuff will never stop, but we're going to start pulling a 3/8 core. Smaller core, 10%, you're talking 10% displacement, maybe less with that. It's a small core, but at least you're breaking that layer up and you're removing it.
And you're going to do this.
Yeah, we dry jack twice a year to help break that up.
Yep. How many times do you think you can pull the 3/8 core this year?
I'll do it 3 times this year.
Wow. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Good for
and
you.
Then we're going to come right behind it after that. And then we're going to solid tine with 1/2 inch on quads right behind it.
Wow.
So
there's 4 times right there, plus 2 deep tines.
Yep.
That's now we're up to 6, plus 2 hydrojecks.
Yep.
Or dry jacks.
Yep.
We're up to 8 times of busting through that in one season.
You got to do something.
Yeah, in a 12-month. Wow, that's great.
Something.
Good for you. So that's the approach on the layering.
Mm-hmm.
All the tree work that you talked about.
Yep. Contractors. I'm very fortunate to have a member who owns a tree company here, Adam Wingate. Big shout out to him. He's also a mayor of a local township here as well.
Love it.
He's great. We did a lot of work last year around the tees, but we're totally switching to every single tree that we're taking out this year is adjacent to a green.
Excellent.
I went
really
out,
focusing that effort at these greens.
Using the Sunseeker app, trying to figure out which trees are absolutely necessary. I don't want to sit here and the trees make this place. I don't want to sit here and clear cut anything. That's not the idea of this place. But we are definitely going to war on deciduous trees and trying to leave our specimen black pines because we are located. Pine Hill, we are located in the Pine Barrens.
Yeah,
it's only
black pine forest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. What's cool about a black pine? What makes it distinctive?
It's one of the coolest pine trees I've ever seen.
Okay,
honestly, every course I've ever worked at, if we saw a pine tree, it's like, get it out.
Yeah,
it's completely different here.
Yeah,
I want to hold them.
They're kind of gnarly looking, right?
They are. They're such a straight growing tree.
Okay,
they're just so straight, and their bark is beautiful. It's not like a normal white pine.
Got it.
It's beautiful, and it's just the canopies of these trees. Like they're beautiful. They're awesome. So I can't tell you. I mean, I've probably got 100 specimens that I'm trying to really isolate to let them just stand in all their glory.
All right, cool.
Trees are a part of a golf course, whether people want to admit it or not. Obviously, there's a lot of golf courses that have not gone that way, but
Well, there's just different properties.
Correct.
Like there's just different properties and different and the way the layout is here, like you go on this kind of journey through the forest.
Yeah, you really do.
So you need a forest to have that.
It's awesome. Like it's such a cool property. I'm just trying to do everything I can to get the place where it needs to be agronomically to match the bones of this property. The architecture is phenomenal. It just we made big strides last year. We just hit record numbers of members. We got a lot of members joining last year because they saw where the golf course was going in the right direction, and they're starting to believe in my philosophies. And there was a couple instances last year, especially during that drought in May, where there was some talks going like, what's going on with the golf course? And it's like, guys, everybody knows that irrigation is only going to take you so far. Mother Nature has to do her part. As soon as we caught that next big rain, everything just right back to normal.
Okay,
you got to remember, every species, the grass out here has been evolving. It's been accustomed to this. It's doing its natural processes. So it's pretty hardy. Like, it's pretty hardy out here, the grass. You'd be surprised, you get to a stage of wilt and you're like, maybe I got to sod that. It bounces back. It's pretty resilient out here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's way cool. So let's see now. I know you've got some pretty cool work coming up right now this winter. You say you're just getting started. Tell me the story there.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to town, spending a good amount of money on the trees around the greens. But then I'm very fortunate to be a part of an organization that's able to do what we're getting ready to do. But we just signed a contract with McDonald and Sons, and we are going to start our greenside bunker renovation next week as well.
Which is wild, because like, I know this wasn't really something that you thought was going to happen.
Well, talking with the GM, we knew this was going to happen down the road. It's just that, Mr. Fazio did multiple visits this year, and we got to drive around, and he wanted to pick my brain on where I wanted to take it. And obviously I wanted to pick his brain on what his vision was of this place. And topic of discussion was bunkers. These are the original bunkers that were built in the 90s, and nothing's been done to them.
That's right. Both of your visions aligned. Number one priority.
And we're very fortunate that Mr. Fazio has a wonderful relationship with President Trump, and they got together and had some talks. And fast forward a month and a half, we're doing a bunker renovation. So this wasn't even really in the talks during September, and now we're starting.
Now it's January and you're getting started. Okay, great. Which is going to be which is going to make this golf course, turn this golf course so quick. Like, it's going to be a drastic difference from season to season.
When I mean drastic difference, I mean, the naturalized areas of this property also coincided with the bunker faces. The bunker faces are all fine fescue, growing up a little higher, that gnarly look. Obviously, we had a half a dozen holes where the bunker faces of the fine fescue. It could be chinch bug, it could be multiple different other things that happened, but grass was gone. So we addressed the ones last year that we needed to, and we replaced with just turf type tall fescue, and then obviously we maintained it that way.
Well, let me restate the obvious, that, like, talk about Venn diagram of difficult golf course maintenance. You've got bunker faces and you have quote unquote naturalized areas, and now they both suck to maintain. Let's combine them and make them into one thing.
I don't think I have to tell anybody. They say, like, naturalized areas, you don't have to put any inputs into them. That isn't the case at all.
So now let's do them on one of the most difficult to maintain part of the golf course.
Yeah, the slopes on some of these bunkers are pretty insane. We had a couple bad rainstorms last year, and a couple of the bunkers that we weren't able to address in time, started to collapse. It's straight sand here. It's tough.
There's monster bunker faces out there.
So that was always a big conversation piece that members, when I started here, they talked about. It's like, we hit a good shot into the greens and we come up short, and now we're in 6 inches of fine fescue.
We're staring at an 8-foot bunker wall.
Correct.
Like trying to get up onto the green.
Correct.
And this golf course is already 7,400 yards.
7,400 is 153. Let's just make it harder. And now, like, again, like, this is what I'm saying. I've totally changed the way that I've thought about doing stuff. So, talked with a supplier down in Maryland, and we're doing Zoysia. We're switching all bunker faces to Zoysia.
Awesome.
So playability is going to be better. Maintenance is going to be a little less intrusive to the staff.
Well, at least you can. At least you have one turf type to maintain.
Correct.
You don't have to maintain a naturalized area on top of the steep bunker face.
Yeah, and I think Zoysia is really going to thrive. I mean, there's a few courses in the area that I've played that have already made that transition years ago, and it's a great look. It's a
Low,
great look. The
it's a great
playability,
look, and it is going to thrive. This like high heat, low moisture, low input, sandy thin soil.
Yep. And the beauty about zoysia is, you kind of have to change your philosophy on the maintenance of that as well. It's like you want to try to get the majority of your fert out there during that green up right after it greens up, but then you kind of just want to hold off and then just give it a little bit, and because you don't want to give it too much in the fall because you're going to set yourself up for large patch.
That's right.
So it's the timing of stuff is going to be different, but it's at the end of the day it's still grass.
EarthWorks wise, I always recommend A22 during that spring green up with zoysia.
Well, good thing I got 12 pallets coming.
There you go, dude. Yeah, so you're set. You're set. And do you use any C3, by the way?
I mean, I should have just got 2 totes instead.
Because that's the other one. It's very simple.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. So yeah, that's a major change. You also said that they're going to be resloping.
Yeah, they're going to try to soften some stuff so that we don't run into that situation of water just pouring into the bunkers the way that they are now. The high sides of these bunkers don't have that lip that kind of diverts that surface water off to the sides rather than just dumping into the bunker. After big rain events, which were very rare last year, it took us a couple days to pump bunkers out.
Well, let's get to the real meat of the conversation there on the bunker technology that you're using. So the last couple courses I worked for that we've done some bunker stuff with, especially back in Lancaster, it was all capillary concrete. That's kind of been the big thing in the industry the last 5 or 6 years. Everybody doing their renovations or doing better billing, some sort of aggregate liner. Right. That then gets the polymer and becomes very stiff.
Correct. So with our unique situation of starting a bunker renovation so quickly, it was brought up to my attention that maybe we should consider Bunker Solutions. Bunker Solutions it was actually invented by an assistant superintendent down in Texas.
Oh, cool.
And that's kind of how the patent got started. So basically, it's just AstroTurf. It's white AstroTurf that it's almost like a range mat. AstroTurf, and it's set up to have the bristles are set on a 30-degree angle. So especially on your slopes, you want to make sure you have that set up facing that angle up to where it holds that sand up there.
Awesome. Becomes a catcher's mitt for the sand.
And it's completely, what they put a non-permeable layer of matting underneath everything, and then we cut our trenches, we put the drainage in there, and then everything is rolled out with the AstroTurf into those trenches, and then everything is glued together to make one solid mat. And then everything's stapled in, but at that point the staples don't really matter. The weight of everything is going to keep it intact. So there's no possible chance of any contamination coming up
because there's like a plastic non-permeable underneath.
The only way water can exit a bunker is through the drainage. And it's free flowing. It's the way that they set it up, it would be damn near impossible for that to ever clog the way they have the situation set up. I'm very much looking forward to it, and kind of in our unique situation of the timing.
Okay.
Because when you go into when you usually do a renovation like this, there's a good amount of planning and making sure that logistically that materials are available.
Oh, tons of moving parts.
So that was the challenge for me when we got the green light for this.
What, sand particularly?
Sand, yeah.
Oh.
I'm very particular on. I'm a golfer. I've played out of a lot of different types of sand, and
you're a good golfer too, man.
Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
Depends on the day. Depends on how many beers. There's a lot of factors. That go into it. But yeah, so I was very just curious, I was just like, this is something I'm not used to. And the beautiful thing about it is that there's no UV degradation that you might get if you put better billy or capillary concrete in that can spray the polymer. They're like that if it's not covered in sand in a certain amount of time, there's UV degradation that can start breaking that down.
Oh,
there's none of that. There's none of that with Bunker Solutions.
Ooh, I didn't even consider that.
The beautiful thing is, while we're still in the process of waiting for our sand to get produced, which it will be,
right,
we can leave the Bunker Solutions totally exposed
Ooh.
Even if, which we're going to have it done before play gets started back up in April, but even if something were to happen to where we were delayed and it went in further into the season, you could hit a golf ball out of it. If a ball goes into a bunker without sand, as long as it has the bunker solution, it's AstroTurf.
You could
Golfers can just hit right out of it, and it's white. So the first thing when
so
members,
it looks like sand.
Yeah. So when the members come back from being snowbirds or whatever they like to do in the winter, they're not coming back to seeing dirt.
Yeah,
because that's the first thing that blows them away. Like, what's all this exposed dirt?
How is it going to get better? How is it gonna...
So,
oh wow,
there's a lot of good like wiggle room to deal with the bunker solutions. It's not so time intrusive, and also you're not having those huge pieces of equipment driving all over hauling concrete across everything. It's none of that. You're hauling AstroTurf in the back
big
of a cart.
Rolls. Yeah,
back of a cart.
Really interesting.
So there's definitely some advantages to it.
I remember.
I'm looking forward to seeing what it does.
I wonder if the idea came out of them using actual sod. Remember, and people probably still do
sod
that.
Bunkers.
Yeah, sod bunkers they work great.
A lot of people still do them,
and it's a very similar idea. Really,
it's the most cost effective. Like now, the longevity is probably not going to match up, but a lot of courses do it.
So this is called Bunker Solutions. I challenge the Bunker Solutions people to take an element of recycling involved in this, because like I think that's a big thing in the artificial turf world, is that they don't, when you have the old stuff, they don't know what to do with it. They could start some kind of recycling.
Like I said, like I'm not a total expert on it yet. I don't know if there's a certain way that they produce it to get that angle that they're looking for.
Yeah, the angle thing was interesting. I mean, especially on faces, but maybe there's flats that they could get to. Who knows?
There's a long list of very good courses that have gone with Bunker Solutions. Like Quail Hollow, the first one that comes to mind.
There you go. Yeah, great EarthWorks podcast guest, by the way. Keith Wood, yeah,
and he would sit there and tell you about the amount of slopes on his bunkers.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So, no doubt. And also I really love that you identified the whole moving parts situation of a bunker job. Like, and now this kind of can alleviate some of those.
That was my biggest concern when all this was really going into motion. Man. Is just how. The logistics.
Yeah, it's way cool.
It was a stressful couple of weeks, but just like everything else, keep your head down and keep going. You figure out a solution for it.
So moving forward now, those are some big cool winter projects coming up, and now you're saying into the spring, into the whole season maintenance, you're trying to build foundation.
100%.
And allow that foundation to then help be the solution on your moisture management, because you ideally would like that 16% to not go down to 4% by 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
If that 16% could only drop to 9%,
correct.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, there's caveats to it. When we dry down a lot, it's the best thing to have your greens dry overnight. Well, I don't water greens at night. If I'm watering greens, we're doing it in the morning. I don't want to set stuff up for sitting wet all overnight.
No doubt, but humus, or a true humification to a sandy profile, firms up the soil, the profile physically, while still allowing the plant to access that moisture.
Correct.
So like you can be firm and maintain a 9% soil moisture, and the plant's happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the word I keep using. I'm trying to sustenance is the word.
That's it.
I'm trying to build sustenance to get this place to where it can kind of go on its own for a little bit. It has that ability. Right now, it doesn't have that ability.
Well, I can't wait to check in with you over the coming seasons, on the podcast too. Let's hear how this happens, and let's report in on how, because we've had the metrics to kind of track it, right? You've got the TDR, you're coming out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and having seen a 75% reduction in moisture, and you're like, what the heck? How can we bring this to like 50%, 40%?
And that's where you come in, Jack. The products, EarthWorks, that's going to be the driving force. Last year, like I said earlier, I definitely saw a lot of improvement in conditions, both aesthetically and playability wise. But then again, it's like what I was doing through the spray rigs was basically just getting me to the next spray. There was no longevity with it.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do to start the year in March with aerification, obviously we're aerifying all surfaces, and then we're going with a full rate of renovation on fairways and approaches.
Yes.
Obviously renovate's going on all greens or all playing surfaces, but fairways, approaches included.
That's pretty wild.
And then a big shout out to Randy Ryder and Fertile Soil, where he put together a blend for me based off our soil tests that I'm going to do 4 granular apps, May, June, July, and August.
Real foundation.
Yep. Yeah. To give this place some sustenance that it needs to chew on.
Yeah, no doubt. I love that.
In combination with the 333 and Myco and everything else I'm going to be chucking out there. Like EarthWorks has always been the foundation of my fertility, but I don't think there's a better plot in the world to see what EarthWorks can do for what I'm getting ready to do this place.
That's what I'm excited about. Like let's humify this sand pit. And let's give it so that the golf course has legs all season long,
100%,
all day long,
100%. So yeah, I'm excited to see what my soil test results look like this time next year.
Yeah, correct. Love it, dude.
Like I said, for soil tests from when I got here to when we just did them, when you came and did them with me, there was definitely some improvements, but obviously it wasn't to the scale that I was really anticipating to see, and I think a lot of that has to do that. We need to get more jiggy with the
one thing that we can say that you saw, and this is always nice to mention, is that because you can see what you're doing with your spreader on the soil test, is like you're strong in potassium. You knew that sodium was high, and you went. And I'm like, oh, dude, you got strong potassium numbers across the board. Like sodium does creep up, but you're counteracting it.
Correct.
And so tell us what you did.
This goes back to years and years ago, something that, was taught to me by my former mentor. We've always kind of been on properties that, potassium has always been kind of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But here more than ever with the amount. So we always did monthly KMAG apps granularly, and then bi-weekly on greens we were doing a high amount of liquid in there as well. So it was always getting pounded.
K-Vantage you were using.
Yep.
Yeah. That K-Vantage is a strong product. But at the same time, coming at it with the K-Mag, on the granular side. Yeah, very.
I mean, it's just that I don't think we ever gave the greens the option to ever get low.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And I think that's another driving force to see why I really want to start getting more dry material out here, so we can it hangs around a little bit more, has an opportunity to bind to the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Liquids here are just like, hey, that was great, appreciate it, peace, see ya. So. And that's also just being responsible financially too. You want to put something out there that's worth it, that's going to give you the results that you need. So it's like I said, I'm totally switching things up this year.
Dude, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be interesting. So,
well, I appreciate you being on, Matt.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, this is fun. Oh yeah, we've had a good day. We've had a good day. And by the way, congrats to you and your wife Amy. I know you've had your first son. How old is Wes?
He's 7 weeks old.
Dude,
yeah.
Young.
Yeah. We're just jumping into everything head first. Why not, right? There's a lot of craft being thrown around everywhere if you want to, like on the golf course and at home. So.
Yeah. You've got your hands full, dude.
You got chicken crap out there and baby crap back there, man. I don't know which does more at this point. I think I might have to land towards the baby.
Well, it's always fun, dude. Always
Yeah.
something exciting.
Yeah, dude, you're the best. Tell Joel I said hi.
Oh, will do. He'll
that
be
good
loving
stuff,
this podcast.
Oh, man. Looking forward to seeing him come back.
All right. Hell yeah. Thank you, Matt. All right. All good. Thank you, everybody. Check you next time.